All right, everybody, good evening. No Limit Sports Live coming at you here on Facebook and Instagram Live. We got Drew, we got Key from Sportsplug 757. I'm Mark Davis. And guys, a lot of marquee matchups at the start of the night, but at the end of the night, I think a lot of them ended up being kind of lopsided, and some teams made some statements.
Yes. The biggest statement had to be Oscar Smith tonight. We're going to definitely talk about that one. That was the biggest statement of the night. You know, another blowout versus Kings Fork in another year, so they definitely didn't miss a beat.
No, and it didn't look that way the entire time.
Yeah, it didn't.
Right?
It didn't.
Like it, for a while, it looked like, hey, this might be close, and in the second half, it's like they decided to start playing some football.
Yes, same thing. I dealt with that at the Kensville Green Run game.
Yeah.
Same thing. The score was a lot closer than what it looked like from the box score.
Well, and that was the second half, right?
Yes,
that was the second half surge.
I'll say the fourth quarter. I'll say the fourth quarter, honestly.
Okay, so it was just like late then. Okay,
yeah.
Wow. Miller was at that game, obviously. Drew, how are we feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. It was some really good scores. I was sitting down before going on live and going over a lot of these scores. Of course, we can't be everywhere.
Of course,
so
yeah.
Just being able to, put these scores together and see how teams came off of losses, how they aim to get into the next week as well. It's really exciting. So we talked about Oscar Smith holding their own, and we had a lot of firepower behind the, not rivalry, but the energy behind Churchland and Maury's game as well. Going in there, I mean, a lot of people didn't have different predictions per se, but what that spotlight can do for somebody. It can make or break it.
Absolutely.
So with seeing them stand on all 10 as well and things of that nature, it kind of complements what he said about Smith and those guys.
Yeah, no doubt at all. Remember, it's your chance to drive the conversation here as fans, so please comment in the comment section of Instagram or Facebook here on WTKR, and we will get to what you guys want to talk about. Let's see here. Can we shout out Granby? Granby, I'll tell you what. Lake Taylor and Granby played in a high-scoring affair tonight.
Yes.
63-41 was the final there. And I guess also, let's see here, Amy said that one of the...
put up 42 as well. I mean, it says a lot about the offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're finding some things out. Yeah.
And of course, condolences, Amy, to the band student that just passed away. I didn't know that. I don't know about that, but certainly, you guys are in our thoughts, absolutely. But so Granby loses to Lake Taylor, and but we definitely have Granby showing some signs of life there with some offense.
Yes. My big takeaway from that is Lake Taylor. I wonder what it is. They just had a game versus Hampton where it was very high scoring. It was 60. What was the score? Like 50-40. It was up there.
40-34.
Yeah, it was up there.
Yep.
I know it hit that 44.
Yes. A combined of over 70 points a game is insane.
It seemed like they're really matching their opponents right now.
Right.
They're kind of leveling out to I think they had a different game last week. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But they really are matching out with most of the opponents that they're having in their schedule early on. It's crazy.
We also have, let's see here. We have, Skyla, her brother plays for Lake Taylor. So Skyla's obviously happy tonight after that 63-41 win. And then Ashton, Nansemond River, and Great Bridge. Yeah, two Chesapeake teams. One winning, one losing. Nansemond River keeps pace with Oscar Smith in the district with the win over Deep Creek. Let's talk about them first. When I saw them last week against Western Branch, I think they looked like a very complete team. I mean, when, Ty Grant can do so much with his legs and his arm, and he has receivers, they have a solid offensive line, it would seem, and good defense. So Nansemond River looks like they, now, I mean, Oscar Smith, I think, till someone beats them, right?
Yes.
As they showed tonight. But Nansemond River looks pretty good so far.
They're doing what they set out to do, and I apologize. Again, we got to see Nansemond River early on, talking to coaches, being able to speak with Ty Graham himself and his father over there. I mean, they have a really tight-knit community that they're holding over there. So when they're bringing people in and new players into their culture, like the new wide receiver outside, and emerging, I believe he was already on the team, Ethan Welton as well. I mean, they're doing exactly what they said they're doing. I mean, honestly, hats off to those guys for really just going out and executing. That's just a part of it. So I mean, they're trending up. I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when they meet some of they'll still face Indian River, Kings Fork, and Oscar.
Absolutely.
So that'll be some fun matchups that we have to look forward to. And then Ashton also mentioned Great Bridge, 37-14 losers tonight to Hickory. And that game was another one that was close in the third quarter. Hickory scored to make it 17-14, and then Hickory just kind of hit their offensive stride. Defense buckled down, pulled away in the fourth quarter, and got that win over Great Bridge. So Wildcats doing some good things, just didn't have it to hang a full 4 quarters tonight.
Yes, like he just said about Lake Taylor, the Wildcats do play to their opponent's level. Like they just was competing last week versus Kings Fork in the first half. Now this week they're losing to Hickory. So I don't know what they need, but I don't know what they need, but they can definitely get over the hump sooner or later.
That's a tough district
Yeah,
to try to get over.
it is. So, yeah, they can.
It's getting hard to measure it. It's almost
Even
like,
Hickory.
okay, was it that or is Hickory finding that? You know?
Yeah.
Is it that time? So
Hickory, you can say the same about Hickory also.
Right.
Like they, any given week they'll be competing with Oscar Smith or Kings Fork or Nazareth River, just any given week. That's any given Friday division right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Hickory showing their stuff tonight. Let's see here. We got Poquoson's game tonight was very close. It was very close. We had Jen up there from Sports Plug 757 taking care of that coverage for us and holding it down. 10-7 in overtime. The Islanders top Lafayette. Big Bay Rivers District game up there, guys.
Oh, man. I'm not a huge fan of and I wasn't there personally, but I'm not a huge fan of course, seeing a whole lot of turnovers and or 3-and-outs, punts, things of that nature, you know. But to see this from the lens that we were able to be provided by our team and being able to see the highlights and how the game came about, I heard there was a lot of turnovers happening on Lafayette's side. I mean, almost up to 5 or 6 is what I'm hearing.
Wow.
And one of those were very, very big, and it seems like that trend that they had, it trended all the way into overtime where they coughed the ball up again. Baum Hodge, great player as well. It seems like it got a little handsy in the trenches, and that's where he dove forward, and the ball popped out there. Poquoson was able to, you know, take the chances to close the game. And, you know, they got close enough to get that clutch field goal, and you never want it exactly like that. But, hey, shouts out to the kicker, and they tagged him in our page. I definitely want to shout him out once I can remember his name. But, yeah. It was a clutch moment for them, so that was a really, really good turnout.
Well, and is this a two-horse? I mean, this was a two-horse race, I think, coming in between Lafayette and Poquoson, just based on other results. I know War Hill's still there, but Poquoson, I think, really put itself in the driver's seat now to take care of business in the Bay Rivers.
Yes, Poquoson is on pace to make the Bay Rivers. That's 3 different
champions.
Yeah, champions in 4 years. Yeah. So I think I like that. I like that for the Bay Rivers.
Parity's good, right?
Yes, parity is great. It's great. So. You know, last year it was a close game. You know, I was there. You know, it was an all right game last year. So this year, you know, just to see Poquoson get over the hump, and you know they're Class 2 favorites. Well, they should be Class 2 favorites competing with who's
is it Riverheads? Is Riverheads Class 2?
I think so. I think so. They get the Class 2. Or they might be Class.
I gotta check. They're out there in that
comments?
Stanton area. So
who else Class 2? Grayson County. Yeah, they and TJ is there also, so it's gonna be a great game to see in the playoffs. TJ versus Poquoson.
Yeah.
So they can take this momentum and try to get back to the state championship, the semifinals. They lost in the semifinals 3 times in a row, or something like that. So I'm just happy for Poquoson. Great win. Lafayette, being Lafayette and getting that win at home.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Yeah. Gritty win, too, tonight by Poquoson.
You know, I mean, if
they wouldn't turn over that
season, like they beat themselves. I mean,
they won't get that many
if that is true, 5 to 6 turnovers and/or interception. One of them was a pick 6.
Yeah.
And then fumbles and things of that nature. I mean, we it's no telling.
So I didn't know Poquoson scored on a pick 6. That's interesting how if they scored their touchdown on a pick 6.
If not a pick 6, I think it was a fumble 6. One of the two.
Oh, okay. So a turnover led to a touchdown. All right. Well, great work there by Poquoson. Maury, Bayside, Bayside 48-33, another high-scoring game in the beach there. They beat Lansdowne, but the Marlins, looking pretty good. They're looking, we talked about, how they recovered and got the win last week. And now here they are winning again. So, I mean, that's another one where we look forward to the showdown with Green Run. I think they play on a Saturday afternoon. But Bayside looking pretty good.
Yeah. Biggest thing with the beach, like I said, any given Friday or Saturday, since they play Green Run on a Saturday, just watching the Green Run play Kinsville, like I just don't see any beach team beating another beach team twice. So it's definitely gonna be really, really interesting inside the playoffs. But I'm just ready to see how everything play out. I'm ready to see Green Run versus Bayside, and I just saw how they looked versus Kinsville. Kinsville couldn't finish the game, but because Green Run, the second half was amazing, and so I just can't wait to see them versus like a Salem, or Green Run definitely on upset alert versus all the other teams.
And you said, Key, last week that you thought the beach was among the most competitive districts we have.
Yes,
I think so. I still think so. The beach they're the only district without a clear winner. Like Maury is 70 points better than the second best team in the Eastern, and you see that until Smith plays Nazareth River, we don't really know what it looked like right there. but and Phoebus play Warwick. But right now, like from what we see and the results that we're getting, like as of today, is definitely the most competitive.
Yeah, Phoebus playing. You disagree?
No, I agree.
Oh, okay. All right. No. I was.
See how you put it together?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Just set it up for us right there. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I think Southeastern is probably the most top-heavy.
Yes.
Beach District is definitely competitive.
For sure.
That's 100%. Yeah, let's see here. Etan Haas, I think I'm saying your name right. UVA upsets Florida State in double overtime. Not high school, but worth the mention, buddy.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Huge win for the Cavaliers.
Sure.
Signature win for Tony Elliott. Hat tip to the Wahoos. Very well done. Let's see here. Goldie, good job, Maury against Churchland. Good job. Yeah, it's a good job. It's a 77-6. That's a good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's all expected out of Maury with this type of competition, the type of pedigree that they bring, especially at home. And again, a lot of predictions didn't change for a lot of viewers outside, but the hype will change the ticket sales.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
So it's always a big thing. It's always good to have that support. And I'm not sure what they're trying to grow as far as the rivalry here. They're going to have to get back to the lab a little bit as far as the truckers go. But I mean, the Commodores. I mean, I just give I tip the hat to them all the time for not falling into the noise. They don't get too much into the noise. They take care of business. So. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think two of our analysts, I was just checking, I think two of our analysts had that game pretty close.
Yeah.
They had that game pretty close, like 35-28, 30, like they had it really, really close. And I looked at Maury's story after the game and they showed like like the previous years, like since they won the first state championship. And like Churchland has done really good at the beginning of the season. It was like 4-0, 4-1, 5-0, and this year was 4. And every single year they blew them out by over 40. Like every single one of those years, Churchland came in with the momentum. So I don't know. They just decides to turn up versus Churchland in a different way every single year when Churchland has the most momentum. So I just hope Churchland don't take this and be too, like, that's the best team in the state. And y'all are a really good team. You know, you still have to compete with Phoebus and, all those guys in their
business.
And they're very talented.
Right, and still plenty of business to handle.
Yeah.
Exactly. They still have their entire Eastern District. I think Churchland Lake Taylor will be one to circle on the calendar and see how that goes, because both those teams are definitely showing up here. And like you said, despite that loss to Maury by Churchland, I mean, Maury, our chief photographer, Wade, was at that game, and he was texting me and just saying, I mean, it's like he couldn't put his camera down for a second without Maury scoring. So their offense hasn't lost a beat. It's still high-powered, and they're still rolling. So no panic in Churchland Truckerland tonight, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. So, just coming off of Verina, Bishop Mack, and Cardinal Gibbons, like, just playing those teams of that caliber, then facing Churchland is two different calibers of football. So, playing those out-of-state teams and, very close games every single week, and then you get Churchland. It is like, and Churchland might not even be that bad, but just coming in after playing those teams, it definitely could be a breeze. Especially at the line of scrimmage with the teams they just played who had huge line of scrimmage, like huge lines. And then you play Churchland. I'm not saying Churchland is a little, but compared to those teams, it's definitely different.
And that was a big, I was going to add on to the matchup that you said after that. It was Lake Taylor and Churchland.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
That'd be a good game, and that was a comparison of good teams as well. I mean, a good comparison of those two teams. The difference between those two, I think, where the fall would be at that one is, I think Churchland has a little bit more depth. Lake Taylor has been falling short because they haven't had that guy that's able to come in when that guy is gassed and things of that nature. Now, that's some of the reports that I've been seeing. So again, once they're able to, coach the guys up to be, hey, next man up, at least for the time being, they'll be able to hang with whoever it is that they set out to hang with.
See, my question now is, can Churchland, so far, Lake Taylor has shown to be a pretty high-powered, high-scoring offense. So is Churchland going to be able to match that? Churchland's been good. Now, their defense, may be able to slow that down a little bit. But those are just some things that I'd be watching going into that game. I think that's going to be a good Eastern District.
Good question.
Let's see. Booker T. Washington High School says, Brandon, much success always. Rough night tonight, falling 61-zip at TJ. TJ's a good team. We talked about them being in the Class 2 playoffs. Could make a deep run as well. I definitely think that's take that into consideration. Booker T is a team, you just want to see kind of move, and get going in that right direction. It's one of those things where, hey, they have the Norfolk talent. It's just kind of being able to kind of put it all together.
Yes, absolutely. It's a lot of moving pieces, and they're not the only ones that are, in that that realm where you just want to see that win. You want to see something happen for them. So again, I wanted to just see them continue to push and collect those small wins until, of course, obviously they can amount to the big wins that they're looking for. I mean, it takes time. It takes time. You need the people. You need all the tools together to make it happen. But I mean, again, I tip my hats off to everybody over there in that entity that's pushing forward and trying to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, it's a really young team, and we watched them in the off season.
Yeah.
A couple of times, scrimmages versus Nansemond, they look good. Like you can see the future in them right now. They're really young. They're probably a year away or a year or two. Like they're coming though.
Let's move over to Facebook here. Grayson, how do you feel about how Smith came out in the second quarter? I think it's more the second half, how Smith came out in the second half. I mean, because of the second quarter, that's when Kings Fork was able to take the lead. Smith doesn't panic. They don't crumble. They come back down. They tie it. Actually, they could have gone up 21-14 into the half. It was the second nice pass from Lonnie down to Travis Johnson, kind of a jump ball, and Travis went up and got it. But then Artis Boone on defense picks off Lonnie in the end zone, Lonnie Andrews, 14-14 at the half. But then, I mean, stepping on the pedal coming out there, that was certainly, very impressive to just kind of flip the switch and outscore them 20-0 in the second half. So Grayson, I would say that. Let's see here. Willie, we talked about that Poquoson shocker over Lafayette.
Yes.
Jen said it was crazy. She was there. Let's see. How about War Hill beating York 35-0 last night? Yeah, we talked about the Bay Rivers. War Hill's definitely a team that might sneak up on some people. We had that Lafayette-War Hill game week 2, so that kind of put Lafayette in the driver's seat there, but War Hill hasn't lost since.
No, and War Hill versus Poquoson is going to be a great game also. I think it's going to be a good game. I think so, even though the Lafayette game was a little, lopsided, but I still think, it's going to be a great one.
Full triangle for sure.
Yes.
After we talked about it too, I think, quote me on that, when off of that episode when we talked about Dallasburg and how big these games could be, and like again, it doesn't have to be a certain rivalry. It could have been Churchland making Maury just enough mad to carry that type of thing on. And I pray for the team that is going against a team who is hungry and coming off of a loss that probably wasn't even deserved, or they had some things that they could have changed, just tweaked a little bit to walk away with that win. That hunger moves on to the next week. You don't want that over and over again. Nobody does. So if you have the tools, tips, and strategies that you can utilize as a unit to get it done, they're going to put their best foot forward, and this is what you see.
Yeah.
That comes from that battle test that we were talking about. You just said earlier as well. Same thing.
Going back here, let's see here. We got a Churchland request. We were talking about the Truckers earlier and their loss tonight. But again, we said we think they're going to be fine. Looking forward to some of their matchups down the road. Let's see. Kamari, Bayside, 48-33 over Lansdowne tonight. They're looking good. We think they're going to be a contender in that very competitive Beach District, as we said earlier. And then let's see. Corey, Indian River, Grassfield. Indian River was a team tonight that really bounced back well, and they did it in all 3 phases. Opening kickoff by Donovan Brown. He also then had a touchdown reception, at least in that first quarter. We saw a pick 6 there early on. Before, it was like a minute 10 into the game, blink, and it was 14-0 Indian River. You talked about a team coming off a loss, Drew.
Yes.
They were a team coming off a loss and wanted to get back out there and got in the winning side in a very assertive manner.
Absolutely. You can look at it in any way that you want to for them going into that game. The atmosphere, you knew who was on the sideline and the things that come with it. That's battle testing.
Yep.
That's getting you ready for the next level, whatever that looks like. And for them, unfortunately, at that time, Oscar Smith is what it would seem to be the next level right now. And so that battle testing is now done. It's all about what you do going forward with all of that.
No doubt at all.
Yeah, after tonight, I think they're the clear favorites for not clear, but Green Run and them are like hand to hand. But I have Indian River like right now ahead in that dang, I forget that class. In that class,
Region 5A.
Yeah, Region 5A. Yeah, so I have 5A. Yeah, so I have them a little ahead. The momentum that they carried at the end of Smith game was very positive. I hope they didn't leave that game with their heads down because they was actually storming back, like they were coming back versus Smith at the end of that game. So, just them going into the Indian River, into the game this week, I think they're going to carry that momentum from the end of that game to the rest of throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one where if it doesn't get off the rails a little bit for them early, how would that young, they have some young pieces to that team. They're going to learn from that, and you talked about being battle tested. That's definitely one of them. Before we wrap up here, I think it's also big to point out, big game tomorrow. Might be a little sloppy, but Phoebus and Warwick at Todd Stadium.
Absolutely.
Phoebus going to tie the state record with 52 consecutive wins. They have to get through a pretty tough opponent. This may be their toughest game of the year. This or Hampton may be the two teams that have the opportunity to stand in their way of this milestone. So, I mean, tomorrow's going to be, I think, a fun watch. Warwick's defense always comes to play, and we've seen these games before go down to the wire, be pretty good.
Absolutely. And again, I never bet or predict anything too crazy, but again, I've had some thoughts that were kind of, not in Warwick's favor. One of the games, I won't quote it. Dom, I know you're watching. But that didn't work out for me, so I'm done doing that. And so with that being said, I mean, they've proven that they can still hang if they want to. And again, if they get that thing right on offense, which I've seen that they had a little bit more fun on the offensive side. And, I want to be able to look at the film over again on that. But, it seems like it's trending up for them, and they're finding that identity in a sense, or at least making it work from what they have. And that's the best thing you can do. So, man, I think it's going to be a really, really good one. Phoebus is continuing to show to be Phoebus, playing the way that they're playing. So it's all about what, Warwick is used to and what they're able to do with, the Phoebus that we have now here. So, yeah, I'm clear on that one.
Yeah, I see another a low-scoring game, maybe 12-6. I know the field goals may be hard. It's going to be wet. No one's passing the ball. Maybe something. It's whoever wins the line of scrimmage. Both teams are good at stopping the run and running the ball.
There we go.
So, I mean, it's up in the air with the rain.
Well, it's interesting because it doesn't take the passing game out of it, depending on how it is, but it definitely limits it, right, as you guys were saying. And then that turf can get pretty slippery.
It can.
In the rain, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all of a sudden you have all these factors. And I think it's going to be fun to see what goes on. But Phoebus' next two games to tie and potentially break the record, Warwick and Highland Springs.
Yep.
So I think it's, it's shaping up to be is it going to be a storybook setting of a new record, excuse me. I definitely think that's possible. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Let's see. I just want to see if any of you guys have any last-minute thoughts here, because we want you guys to drive the conversation.
I would say.
Who didn't we talk about?
Well.
Yeah, Willie pointed that out, too, that Phoebus also has Highland Springs next week. So hopefully they're not looking ahead, though, because we all know how that can do. Jeremy Blunt has those guys ready, though.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Guys, any final thoughts as we get set to dip out here in this one?
Oh, man. Honestly, again, this is just shaping out to be, like we said at the beginning, one of the most exciting seasons that I've seen thus far. I mean, we're having some blowouts, some close games, triple overtimes. A lot of turnovers in one. I mean, it's just extraordinary in its own way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, again, there's always a unique sense of, the first time for everything. And I feel like we're seeing it here with a lot of these schools that we're seeing playing now. And, of course, new athletes. So it's all good. I'm having a lot of fun covering this season.
Yeah. Key?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a UVA versus FSU type season this year. So you just never know. Yeah, and shout out to those guys, too. Who would have knew that they would have had a better season than Virginia Tech. But, so this season, it's definitely, like you said, I think it's going to live up to the hype. Everything is going to definitely shape itself out in the next 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks for sure.
Yep.
So I'm just excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, we got a lot of matchups to look forward to still to come. We were talking about the Lake Taylor-Churchland matchup we have coming up this season. Oscar Smith, Nansemond River, Indian River versus, Nansemond River and Kings Fork. Kings Fork, Nansemond River, so we have a lot. Phoebus and Warwick tomorrow, Phoebus and Hampton. We have quite a view coming up, and it's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the season. Guys, thank you so much if you participated tonight. We really appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying this segment here that we can do every Friday night and let you drive the conversation. We're going to let our staff and crew get out of here. For Drew and Key, I'm Mark. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.